Dear students, under this Indian society, a separate topic which is given for us, that is about demography. What is demography? Why this demography is to be studied here? Normally we may feel like this, but demography is also important in every country. The development of a country, the planning of the country, or the progress of a country, which are all can be based on this demography or population. When the population of a country which exceeds more than the limit, it is a problem. Which is decreased more than limit, that is also a problem. So, the country should have some minimum amount of population, neither it is too high nor it is too low. So, this demography, or in other words, the study of population or population studies, is considered as important. Now, study of population or population studies, why it is important? To plan the goals of the country, to prepare future plans. If the population is less, actions are to be taken to increase it. If the population is less than the limit, the actions that is to be initiated to improve the increase of population. If it is more than the limit, the actions are to be initiated to try to reduce it or to control it. By that, optimum, neither high, too high nor too low, this stage, what is to be achieved by having either taking action to improve or to try to control. So, now come to our Indian society. In India, we find population which is more than the limit. Before discussing about that, how this term of demography, what is being arrived? The term demography, which has been derived from the Greek words demos and graphin. Demos and graphin. Demos means people, graphin means study. So, here description or study. Demos, therefore, demography means description of people or study of people. Description of people or study of people is called demography. This term demography, which was coined by Achille Gilliard in the year 1885. Achille Gilliard in the year 1885. So, this study of population or demographic study has got its own importance in India. Though we have got a very vast geographic area, as per the geographic limits, we have occupied 7th place in the world. And as per population, we have got 2nd place in the world. If we take population as the base, we have got 2nd place in the world. If we take geographic area, we have got 7th place in the world. As per population, the 1st place was occupied by China. So, the population of our country called India, which is at present, as per the census report 2011, it was approximately 121 crores. But at present, it may be around 132 to 34 crores approximately, because the latest correct information is not available. Census enumeration which takes place for every 10 years. So, in 2011, census enumeration has taken place, and for very next year, in 2021, next census enumeration takes place, where we will get a somewhat exact picture of the population, what is the present population of India. If we go through from the beginning, the increase in population, growth of population, it may be approximately somewhat 130, 32 or in between 34 crores at present. So, India is called overpopulated. Overpopulated. This overpopulation is always considered as a burden. Overpopulation is a burden to a country. When the population which exceeds more than the limit, it creates good lot of problems. Good lot of problems. In the sense here, not only population increases, with that all other food production or related things which are also on increase, it may not be such a big problem. But in India, these are all not in balance. These are in imbalance. Growth of population which increases very fast. Its growth is very fast. But the remaining things, food production and other things, which are not so fast, it is somewhat slow. Therefore, the food production which is slow improvement, population increase is so high, and therefore, here it creates a problem. It creates a problem, and it gives rise to a lot of other related problems once again. Therefore, demography, which is considered as important as per Indian society. So, it has been derived from two words, demos and graphin. Demos means people, graphin means description. So, description of people, describing about people, or in other words, population studies. Population studies. So, under this population study, we have to go through a lot of things. Now, first let us take about the here two forms of demography. Before that, there are two forms of demography. See, the study of population or demographic studies, which are got two. One is formal demography One is formal demography and another one is social demography. There are two types of demography which are called formal demography and social demography. Formal demography means measurement and analysis of the components of population change. Measurement and analysis of the components of population change. Measurement and analysis of components of population change. What are the components? There are good lot of components related to this demography. What are found? Like age, sex, occupation, birth rate, death rate, etc., 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 which are all called the components of population. These are undergoing change. Either the birth rate or death rate or density of population or growth rate or age structure, sex structure, which are all not remaining constant, which are undergoing change. So, that is studied under formal demography and social demography, where we are going to study about wider causes and consequences of population structure and change. Wider causes and consequences of population structure and change. See here, population structure is undergoing change. So, what are the causes of such changes in population? To have such changes in the population structure, what may be the causes? And what will be the consequence? What will be its result? What change that is taking place in the structure of population, what will be its result in future? So, that is studied under social demography. Therefore, there are two forms of demography, formal demography and social demography. Once again, formal demography means the measurement and analysis of the components of population change. And social demography is concerned with the study of wider causes and consequences of population structure and change. So, like this, here there are two forms of demography called formal demography and social demography. Now, what are the characteristics of this demography? Under that, number one, size and growth of population. Size and growth of population. Now, under the size and growth of Indian population, size, just I have said in the beginning, Indian population as per 2011 census, it was 121 crores. Now, it may be somewhat 130 or 32 or in between 34 crores at present. So, the population size is so high, and it's go on increasing also. The population is not remaining constant. So, the size when compared to other things in India, population size is which is more than the limit. And growth of population. How the population growth that is found in India. So here the growth of population till somewhat 1921. Till somewhat 1921, it was somewhat low. It was somewhat low. There was no high growth in the population. Somewhat low. But in between 1911 to 1921, the growth of population which has fallen to the lowest, that is negative rate of growth. In 2011 to 2021, the population growth which has fallen to lowest, either before that or after that, it was never be observed. So the population growth which was fallen to minus 0.03%. So till 1921, in between 11 or up to 21, there was no problem. The growth of population which was somewhat limited. But in between this, after this, sorry, it is not 1911, 1921, not 2000, 1911 to 1921, the population growth has come down to 0.03%. Minus 0.03%. That means in between this, the population has come down to a bottommost level. Why? It is due to epidemics, whatever that were existed during those days, which has taken lives of good lot of people. It has taken away the lives of good lot of people. That means death rate was so high during this year. Death rate was so high due to the epidemics. People have died like anything, and therefore growth rate has fallen to minus degree or negative. It was called negative growth. There was no growth, but from the existing population still it has come down. That was negative growth of population. So therefore, the year 1921, which was called as the demographic divide year or the year of demographic divide. The year of demographic divide, because during this period, the population growth which has fallen to negative rate, negative, we must remember that, negative, that means minus. In the sense, what was the existing population from which it has come down. Still it has come down, means the people have, how many people are born, more than that people have died. During this period, what may be the number of children are born, more than that the people have died. That is why it has reached to negative point. Therefore, the year 1921, which was called as the year of demographic divide. Year of demographic divide. After 1921, once again, it has started steady improvement in the population. After 1921, that means when it has fallen to bottommost position, that is negative growth, due to epidemics, After that, the epidemics might have been controlled and death rate might have controlled, and therefore population growth steadily started to increase after 1931. Sorry, 1921, it steadily started to increase. So, till this year, there was no high growth rate. Growth rate was somewhat limited. In between this, the growth rate has fallen to negative degree. After 1921, once again, it has started to try to steady improvement in the growth, and in 1981, it has reached to 2.22%. The growth in 1981, it has reached to 2.22%, means the growth rate was so high. After 1931, the growth rate has started to increase. Though 1921, the negative growth which was recorded, after that it is able to survive from this, and the population growth has started to increase after 1931, and at about 1981 it has reached to 2.22%. Highest growth rate was recorded, 2.22%, and as per 2011 census, the growth rate which has slightly come down to 1.76%. That means it is not low growth. When compared to 1981, it is somewhat low. In 1981, it has reached to the peak. It was reached to the peak, that is 2.22%. It was reached to the peak. Then slowly it has started to come down. The growth rate slowly it has started to come down, and at about 2011 census, it has recorded 1.76%. So, the size and growth of population which goes like this. Then, second, age structure. Of Indian population. Age structure of Indian population. What is the age structure? Here, the age 0 to 15 years. 0 to 15 years is considered as child population. 0 to 15 years, it is considered as child population. 15, after 15, it is considered as per demography, it is considered as youths. Till 65. After 65, old population, like this. See, under the census enumeration, it is taken like this. 0 to 15 years, child population. 15 to 65, youth. And after 65, it is considered as old population. Now, this age structure of population, according to which we can find, as per 1911 census, it was 38.8%. Age structure, 8.8% child population, and 29%, which was declined to 29% in 2011. From 38.8% to 29%, the child population has declined. From 1911, it was 38.8. Within 100 years, that means 2011, it has decreased to 29% from 38.8%, 38.8% in 1991, 1911, and here 29% 2011. So within 100 years, completely age structure of child population which has declined. Then the old population, if we take after 65 years, the population of India, which shows only 0.8%, only 8% of the population, only 8% of the population which is called old population. So this is child population 29%, 8% old population. So totally 29 plus 8, 37% of the population which is normally called the dependent population. Dependent in the sense from 0 to 15 years child or children who are unable to engage in the process of production. They are unable to work. They are children. After 65, the working capacity of the people which deteriorates, which decreases. So, unproductive. They are unable to work. So, here 29% child population, 8% old population after 65, in total 37% of the population of India which is called as dependent population. They are dependent on the remaining population. Therefore, here if 37% of people who are dependent, 63% of the people or 63% of the population which is able to engage in the process of production, who are called youths. Therefore, in India, youth population is so high. This is called as demographic dividend. So, demographic dividend means having more number of or more percentage of youth population. Here it was or it is somewhat 63%. The youth population of India is somewhat 63% and the dependent population is somewhat 37%. Therefore, India is benefited demographically. That is called as demographic dividend. One is demographic divide, what we came here. Demographic divide means the growth rate of population has fallen to minus degree. That was called demographic divide. The year 1921, which was called as the year of demographic divide. Because it was fallen to minus 0.03%. Now, demographic dividend, population advantage, having more percentage of population who are called youths. Having more percentage of population who are youths, that is called as demographic dividend. So, demographically, India is benefited by having more percentage of youths, less percentage of dependents. So, this is the age structure of Indian population. Then, declining sex ratio. Third one, declining sex ratio. Sex ratio is declining or declining sex ratio. What is called sex ratio? Why is it declining? How it is declining? Keep it aside. What is sex ratio? Sex ratio means the number of female per 1000 male. The number of female per 1000 male. So here, under census enumeration, to decide sex ratio, male population is taken as a base. Male population. For every 1000 male, what may be the number of female who are coming when it is divided? The total male population, total female population, when it is compared with the 1000 male, to which what may be the female population. This is called as sex ratio. So here sex ratio in India, which is declining. How it is declining here? Sex ratio, in what way it is declining? Here, if we take some, I am not going to take much data, just to try to know the facts, I am going to take some important data, that is only. As per 1951, as per 1951, the sex ratio was somewhat 946, which was come down to 1991, it is 927, and in 2011, it has once again, it was able to try to find somewhat slight improvement, 940. See here, if we take the total sex ratio of India, at about 1951, the sex ratio was 946, means for every 1000 male, only 946 female were available, which shows imbalance in sex ratio. Normally, in every society, sex ratio will be in balance. Sex ratio will be in balance. This balance normally nature is used to maintain. Nature itself is able to maintain the balance in sex ratio, but maybe because of various reasons, the sex ratio which is finding imbalance. So the imbalance what we can find here. In 1951, the sex ratio which has come down to 946, it was somewhat around 946, and 1991, it has recorded that 927 female per 1000 male. 927 female per 1000 male. And if you take the latest data what is available as per 2011, because next census evaluation is going to take place in 2021. So it has to come. What will be the sex ratio? We have to come across later. As on today, the available document or record, it is 940. Sex ratio is 940 per 1000 male as per 2011 census, which means the sex ratio what is in imbalance. Now the question arises, if the sex ratio which is in imbalance, what will be the problem? Why it is a problem? How it is a problem? It is always a problem. It is always a problem. If we are hungry, we want food. If the food is not available to the quantity whatever that is required, we may feel still hungry. Though we are able to get a little food, we may feel still somewhat hungry. Our hunger is not completely satisfied. In the same way here, if we compare, For every 1000 male, if there are only 940 female, 940 female means there is a lacking 60 female number is lacking 60. So every individual, either a man or a female, a woman is interested to get married. If the sex ratio which is finding imbalance, I am not speaking either female number may decrease or male number may decrease. If decrease is found in any one of the number, either male or female, it creates problem, lot of problems, for which some solutions have to be found out, and those solutions may also once again problematic. Therefore, this sex ratio which is imbalanced, but at the same time, if we take the child sex ratio, which shows still imbalance. In 1991, the child sex ratio, which was somewhat 945. 1991. It is child sex ratio, which was somewhat 945 as per 1991, and 2011 it has reached to 927. 2001 it has reached to 927, and in 2000 it is 2001, 2011 914. 914. See, this sex ratio is coming here later. Now they are children. Now they are children. They are becoming youths. At the time of their youthful years, they find a severe shortage of female. And the demographics have described that if the same sex ratio which is continued, they have already described when the census enumeration that has taken place in 2011 itself, at that time itself they have described that if this sex ratio which continued till 2021, there will be severe shortage of female. Just we can understand here. In 1991 it was 945, 2001 927, come down, 2011 914, means it is gone coming down. Here ups and downs what you can find in total, but now here it is go on. That means female number of children, number of female children which go on coming down. Now the question may arise in front of us, why the female number of children is go on coming down? Why it is so? What may be the reason for this female sex ratio which is going to getting down? Here there may be a good lot of problems. One, female infanticide, female foeticide, negligence of female children, and at the same time sonogram, predeterminant of sex determinant tests. See here, let us go one by one. The sex ratio, child sex ratio which is getting down, why it is getting down? Female foeticide, sex determination tests. Now the government has banned sex determination test, sonogram cannot be conducted. Still, whatever the rules, regulations are there, in any country, there are rule followers, there are rule violators. India is not an exception. India is not an exception. So here, sex determination tests which are conducted prior to the birth of the child, or when the fetus, which is in the womb, when a woman is pregnant, after 1 month of the pregnancy, it is possible to try to get it know the future born child whether it is a male child or female child. Such tests are available, and that test is called a sonogram or sex determination test. What is happening in India? Normally, the feeling of Indians that they want to have male children, they don't want to have female children. Normally. Why or how, that is immaterial. We are not going to discuss about that. People may have their own will and wish. Keep it aside. Now, this sonogram, that means sex determination tests, which are misused, means if the future born child which will be decided that it is a female one, they are going for abortion. They are going for abortion. They don't want to have female children. They want to try to have male children. So, this is female feticide. Fetus, when the child is under fetus, if it is decided that it is a female one, it is aborted. And female infanticide, after the birth, female children are getting death more than male children. Female children are getting death more than male children. Why? It is because negligence towards female children. They are not properly looked after. They are not properly fed. They are not properly provided nutritious food, or they are having this or that problem, and female children are getting death. But for male children, due care is taken by the parents, and male children are going to survive. So, this may be another reason for the decrease of sex ratio, child sex ratio. Decrease of child sex ratio, this may be another reason. See here, therefore, the female child is getting down, number of female children are coming down day by day. Now it has reached to 914. If this sex ratio which is continued till 2021, it is assumption, the assumption is that one or the future course in 2021, severe shortage of female. So, this will be the assessment whatever the demographers have described. Now, under this, Bimaru versus Demaru. Bimaru versus Demaru. Bimaru versus Demaru. A concept is included here. What is this Bimaru? What is this Demaru? Why it is related to this? Bimaru. Bihar, Madhya Pradesh, Rajasthan, Uttar Pradesh. Bihar, Madhya Pradesh, Rajasthan, Uttar Pradesh, Bimaru states. These states are called Bimaru states. Why these states are called as Bimaru states? What may be the reason? Here, 39% of the population, 39% of the population, which is illiterate. Sorry, 39% of the total population of India, what is found here? 39% of the total population of India, what is found in these states. So, in these states, high number of population what we can find, Bimaru states. And at the same time, 48% of the population of these states who are illiterate. 39% of the total population of India is found in these 4 states, and 48% of the population of these states are illiterate. So both are problematic. One is population in these states is so high, and among them majority of them are illiterate. Bimar means sickness. This is the sickness of these states. This is the sickness to these states. One is having more number of illiterate population, having high number of population. So this is the sickness of these states, Bimar states. Therefore, these states are called as Bimar states, who have got their own sickness, having more number of population and more number of illiterate population. Bimar states. Demaru, it is another concept. D stands for daughter. Maru, which is stated that Maru means killing. E, in English, elimination. In English, elimination. So, eliminating the daughters, killing the daughters, which means killing the female children, or female foeticide, female infanticide, which is found high in number in certain states which are called Punjab, Haryana, Himachal Pradesh, Gujarat and Maharashtra. Punjab, Haryana, Himachal Pradesh, Gujarat and Maharashtra. In these states, highest number of killing of children, eliminating female children is taking place. Which means here, female foeticide, female infanticide, which is found greater in number in these states. Therefore, those states are called as Demaru states. So, Bimaru means Bihar, Madhya Pradesh, Rajasthan and Uttar Pradesh are called Bimaru states because in those states 39% of the total population what is found, and 48% of the total population of these states illiterate population, and therefore these states are called Bimaru. They fall under Bimaru, means sickness. That is the sickness what they are having. And Demaru, eliminating the daughter, female foeticide, female infanticide, what is found greater in number in the states like Punjab, Haryana, Gujarat, Maharashtra and Himachal Pradesh. These states are called Demaru states. So, these Demaru states, why the sex ratio or Demaru that are taking place here? Female foeticide takes place, female infanticide takes place, or negligence towards female children are taking place, and due to this Demaru states where number of female children is go on decreasing. So, this is called Bimaru versus Demaru. Now, come to the fourth characteristic, increasing literacy rate in India. Increasing literacy rate. Increasing literacy rate in India. Literate, illiterate. Educated, uneducated. We should not confuse these terms. Who is called literate? Who is called illiterate? Who are called educated? Who are called uneducated? A literate need not be educated. A literate need not be educated. So, what is this literacy rate? Who are literate? The people who know how to read, how to write. Actually, as per the description, the people who know how to read, how to write, they are called as literate. But at the present, this literate or illiterate will be decided if they are just signing, if they are able to put their sign, it is not signature, sign. They are considered as literate. They are considered literate. Now, signing, that means because of practice, they are writing something, but they do not know the alphabet they are writing. They are able to sign. They are able to make some mark. What is that alphabet? What it indicates? Nobody knows. So they are also considered literate. So keep it high, anyhow. As per the record, they are considered literate. Now, increasing literacy rate in India. So here, literacy rate is go on increasing in India, which means, as we know, the Constitution of India, which has already declared that it is a duty or responsibility that the government has to provide free and compulsory education to all the children. All the children, whether they are poor, rich, or whatever caste, community, irrespective of that, every child must be given the education till 14 years. That is normally primary education. But there are good lot of loopholes. Good lot of loopholes, and it was not completely met. Anyhow, at the present, we find this literacy rate is go on increasing recently. So, as per 1951, only 17.3% of the population what was called as literate, and it was increased to 31.2%. Sorry. The literacy rate which is gone increasing, we can find here 30 in as per 2011 census, 74.04% who are literates. 74.04% who are literates, but the state Kerala, which has achieved 93.14% literacy. Kerala, which states highest literacy rate, 93.91%, means approximately 94% of the population of Kerala who are called as literate. But Bihar and Jharkhand, which has recorded the lowest literacy, that is called 63.82%. 62.82%. Anyhow, year by year, the literacy rate is go on increasing. Awareness towards education is go on increasing among the people, that is increasing literacy rate. Then fifth, increasing rural urban differences. Now, increasing rural urban differences. As we know, rural areas are greater in number, urban areas are less in number. Rural urban differences are go on increasing because normally the population which concentrates in urban area and population which deconcentrates in rural area. Accordingly here, we can find, as per 1951, there were only 17.3% of the population lived in urban area. At about 1951, somewhat only 17%. or 17.3% of the population used to live in urban area, but it was increased to 31.2% in 2011. Means urban population is increasing. How it increasing? Why it increasing? The people of rural area are going to migrate towards urban area. The people of rural area are going to migrate towards urban area. Why they are migrating? Maybe for the purpose of education, maybe for the purpose of employment, maybe for the problem of accommodation, maybe due to the attraction of urban civic facilities, whatever that are available. It attracts the people from rural area. Therefore, rural population is getting down and urban population is increasing. So, this demography therefore having these characteristics where we can find different aspects. Therefore, this demography, study of demography is considered as important. Now, Indian population, as I have already mentioned in the beginning, is go on increasing at present 1.76% growth of population what we find. 1.76% population growth what is found in India, and it was at about 1881 2.22%, which has little come down. It is not too much. It little come down. It cannot be considered as a coming down. So here population of India is increasing. Now, India, developing country, have got its own goals, its own aims, its own intentions, and the administrators want to try to bring development in Indian society, for which this population is a hurdle. It has become a hurdle. It is a problem. Therefore, it is to be controlled. Therefore, India's population policy of India. What is the population policy of India? To try to find growth, to try to bring development, to try to achieve the goal, the population is to be kept under control. This is what the administrators, this is what the scientists, the thinkers have thought. So, how it can be kept under control? What may be the measure that can be taken to bring it under control? Accordingly, in 76, India explicitly introduced family planning program. In 1976, India has explicitly implemented family planning program. What's called family planning program? Family planning program means controlling the birth. That means normally the children what are born in a family which is kept under control, and in 1976 this family planning program, which is renamed as, with certain modifications, which is renamed as family welfare program, simply bringing control over birth. It is not fair. Simply bringing control over birth, it is not fair what is felt by the people, felt by the administration, and therefore the policy which has changed and it has implemented in the name of family welfare program. And this family welfare program, according to which birth is to be controlled, which is to be kept under limits. Birth which is to be kept under limit, and at the same time not only birth of the child or children which is to be kept under limit, at the same time family welfare, that is providing education, nutritious food, other amenity, basic amenities what are required to bring development, which are all that are to be provided. Not only controlling the birth, with that providing education, providing nutritious food and other basic amenities what are required, which are to be provided to people, and therefore that plan what is called as family welfare program. Under this family welfare program, the UNPF guidelines what are decided to be followed. UNPF guidelines, in the sense United Nations Population Fund guidelines, what are to be introduced, what are to be implemented, what are to be, the people are to be motivated to follow them accordingly. The slogan that delaying the first child and gapping the subsequent. This was a slogan of UNPF. Delaying the first child means not immediately after marriage, within a year the couple are made to get birth. Delay it, advising them, suggesting them to try to delay for the first child. After the birth of the first child, those who want to have second child, keep some gap, gapping the subsequent. So accordingly, this family welfare program what was introduced in India. Therefore, this family planning program which has changed or converted it into family welfare program. Now, National Population Policy 2000. Later, at about 2000, National Population Policy which was introduced by the Government of India. According to this policy, the government had decided, having the objective that bringing the total fertility rate to the replacement level. Bringing total fertility rate to the replacement level. By keeping this idea in mind, this National Population Policy of 2000 which was introduced and having certain basic aspects. How it is possible to try to fulfill this objective, what is to be done, how it can be achieved, for which certain guidelines what are incorporated, and those objects are to be achieved at 2010. So this policy was introduced at 2000, and around 2010 the felt objectives of this policy what is to be met. Accordingly, reducing the infant mortality rate. One thing, the infant mortality, what I have already discussed, that means small children after the birth who are going to get death. Maybe improper treatment, maybe malnutritious food, maybe other negligence from the parents, maybe for whatever the reason. So it is to be controlled. Then reduction of maternal mortality rate means at the time of giving birth, maternal mortality. At that time of giving birth, the parents means the mother who are finding death. So this is to be controlled, this is to be improved. So therefore, this reducing or achieving control over maternal mortality rate, then achieving universal immunization of the children about different diseases. Universal immunization of the children means whatever the spreading diseases what are found, for which what immunization that is made it available, which is supplied by the government, universal availability. All the children must be made to undergo this immunization, that is also there. And achieving institutional delivery. See what happens, or in traditional society, normally the delivery which takes place in homes with unskilled rural people who are going to treat the woman who is going to give birth. But this is not fair. Institutional delivery means at the time of delivery, medical facility, either in the hospital or in maternity centers, they are made to try to give birth to children where this maternal mortality can be controlled. That is also another important thing. Then prevention and control communicable diseases. Different communicable diseases are going to appear in society which may able to take the lives of the people. Therefore, here controlling such communicable diseases, this is also one of the objective of national population policy. Then promote vigorously the small family norms. Normally, UNPF guidelines which states that small family norm, that means delaying the first child and gapping the subsequent, which means controlling the birth. Therefore, family which is going to small, either having one child or at the most two. One or at the most two. So, this is small family norm. People are to be motivated to try to follow such small family norm, what is vigorously implemented. Then control and spread of AIDS. As we know, the biggest disease what was called AIDS, acquired immunodeficiency syndrome, which is able to take the lives of the people. Therefore, here achieving control over it. This is how it spreads. Maybe because of sexual contacts, it is normally going to spread. It won't spread in other ways. Therefore, here people must be given proper awareness to try to control this, and therefore achieving control over it. Then providing and fulfilling the unmet needs for the basic reproduction of the child health care. So here provide and fulfillment of unmet needs for the basic reproductive and child health care. Whatever the basic amenities, basic requirements, what are necessary in relation to reproductive and child health, which are all to be met, made it to meet. Then making the education to the children up to 14 years, which is free and compulsory. That is already what I have mentioned, what was there in the Indian Constitution itself. It is a duty and responsibility of the central government to try to provide free and compulsory education up to 14 years. Due to various reasons, good lot of children who are lagging behind from acquiring this education. Therefore, it should be implemented properly. Actions are to be initiated to try to educate each and every children up to 14 years, though constitutional provisions are there. Then providing information and service to regulate fertility and use of contraceptives. Here, to control and regulate the birth rate. People must be given proper knowledge, proper idea to try to use different type of contraceptives what are freely available in government hospitals. The people are to be motivated by that. That means sometimes people are, though they are not willing to have children in rural areas, uneducated, illiterate people, though they don't want to have children, normally they may say accidentally their child is born. So proper guidance, proper knowledge is to be provided to those people who are illiterate, uneducated, to try to use these whatever the contraceptives what are available. Then taking appropriate steps to make welfare programs a people-centered program. See, all these welfare programs activities, instead of implementing them by others, or the people should not feel that it is imposed or implemented, the people must be motivated that it is our program, it is our improvement, it is our development, it is for us. So such an impression what is to be made to develop among the people of society, and by that the people must be motivated to try to make use of it. And like this, the policy 2000 population policy, which has declared and it has kept its goal to achieve within 2010. Whether we are able to meet the goals or not, that as per official records we have to get it. We have not received any report. So anyhow, the population which is still not completely under control. There may be little changes what might have taken place in society in relation to birth control. Little change might have taken place, and awareness about education might have taken place. That means people are able to send their children to school. But other things which is yet to be decided. Anyway, here such a population policy what was introduced by the government in 2000 to try to bring development in India, to try to achieve the goals of Indian society. So this is about demography, and these are all the topics what are provided for us in our first chapter called Indian society, sociology of Indian society. Thank you for all.